Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshur-militam jena tasmai Shri-gurave namah. Sri Caitanya Manobhishtyam sthapitam jena bhutale Swayam Rupa-kadamayam dadati sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jitapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangsya Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Shadaitam Shavadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Viṣakhan Nitams He Krishna Karuna Shandadina Vandha Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Mrikhabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, there are so many statements in the Upanishad about the absolute truth being the Supreme Person. Pating patinang paramang parastyat mahan prabhubhai purusha parasya shakti vividhai vasyati. This after this we discussed yesterday. So parasya shakti vividhai vasyati. This is from Brihad Aranyak Upanishad. So, the commentators say that in the Brihad-Aranyak Upanishad it is stated Parasya Shakti Vividhai Vasyati, that Supreme Personality of Godhead's energies are variously manifested. Parasya Shakti Vividhai Vasyati natasya karyam karanancha vidyate. Just like a very, in your country it is very easy to understand that a man is sitting as controller in the control room, the subway trains. He, in his table, he has got everything ready, which train is running, on which line, where it is, in which station it is now. So he has got switches and he is controlling everything. Not only here, in India also they have now managed. So they can say which train is where it is now. The light also moves according to the train moving. Similarly, if you can manufacture, if you can invent your own energies in different ways, as the modern material civilization, they are discovering different manifestation of energies by machine, by electronics, and they are managing from one place. Similarly, if it is materially it is possible, why not spiritually? Spiritually is still finer. So, Parasya Shakti Vividhai. He has got so many energies, subtle energies, that he appears to be doing nothing. Just like Krishna. Krishna is, at Vrindavan, he is playing as cowherd's boy, or is dancing with the cowherd girls, or he is going to the pasturing ground with the cows, as if he has nothing to do. He is free. Why he is free? Because he has got so many energies to act that he hasn't got to see personally whether things are being done or not done. This is the absolute truth qualification. Parasya Shakti Vividaiva Syat Natasya Kajam Karanancha Natasya Samadhikascha Dishyate. There is another qualification. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is so that nobody is equal or higher than him in opulences. Natasya Sama. Sama means equal. Adhikascha means higher. That he has no equal, neither anybody is more than him. Therefore, everybody is under him, subordinate to him. Tad Viṣṇu Param. Similarly, in the Sita-Shatara Upanishad, there is another statement that Tad Viṣṇu Paramang Padang Sada Pashyanti Suraya Viṣṇu Padam. Viṣṇu is the highest Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this material world, which is being conducted by three modes of material nature, so Brahma, Viṣṇu, Mahesha. Brahma is in charge of the creation, Viṣṇu is in charge of maintenance, and Lord Shiva is in charge of destruction, dissolution. Janma sthiti law. Everything material, it has got a fixed date of its birth, its duration, and its dissolution. So the Viṣṇu in the Sita-Shatara Upanishad, out of these three deities, Viṣṇu tat paramam padam. That he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tad Viṣṇum paramam Viṣṇu paramam padam. Viṣṇu, those who are Suraya. Suraya means those who are demigods. There are two kinds of people, Sura and Asura. Asura means demons and Sura means godly. The Suraya, tad Viṣṇum paramam padam sada pashyanti. Those who are demigods, those who are godly, they are simply searching after the Supreme, Absolute Truth. They are focusing their concentration, their meditation on the lotus feet of Viṣṇu. This is the statement of Sita-Shatara Upanishad. Sa ikhang chakri, and the Prashnopanishad, and this is in Rig Veda, I'm sorry. This version, Tad Viṣṇu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraya, this version is from Rig Veda. Then again, in the Prashnopanishad, there is another statement, Sa ikhang chakri. He glanced over. Glanced over means when he glanced over, then the creation began, this material creation. Therefore, it should be understood that this glancing is not material, because before his glancing there is no material creation. So our glancing and his glancing is different. Our glancing we are seeing with these material eyes. As soon as this material eyes will be taken away, we cannot see, we are blind. But here is the statement, ikhang chakre, he saw. He saw means he saw with his spiritual eyes. Otherwise, where is the material creation? That he can have material eyes. So these things are to be considered. Similarly, if he has got spiritual eyes, then he has got spiritual ear, he has got spiritual nose, he has got spiritual head, body, everything spiritual. And it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, angani jasya sakalendriya vittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. The Supreme Lord Krishna, Govinda, his bodily different limbs of his body or different senses, they are so perfect that every sense organ can act the I would say, work of the other sense. Just like we can see with our eyes, simply we can see. But if I close my eyes, I cannot see. But I can hear only by my ears, but I cannot see. If I close my eyes, I cannot see with my ears. But about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is said that he can see with his ears, he can see with his hand, and he can hear with his hand, he can do anything from any part of his body. That is spiritual. He can do any part of his body. Just like this is the philosophy. Now we offer something to Krishna. That Krishna, I would say, deity, is not different from original Krishna. Because absolute everything is Krishna. Why this deity should not be Krishna? This is quite reasonable. If Krishna is everything, why not this deity Krishna? This is also Krishna. He can do. He is a power. Is that like if you take my photograph and if you put it in my seat and I am not here, that photograph cannot act because it is material. But for Krishna, his photograph, his statue, his everything can act because he is spiritual. So we should always know that as soon as we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna is immediately there. Krishna is already there. But we should know that here by sound, vibration, Krishna is there. The angani jasya, so ikhangs chakre. So his vision, his presence, his activities, they are all spiritual. And the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Janma karma me divyam jujanati tattata. Anyone who understands the absolute nature of my birth, of my appearance, disappearance and activities, tattādiham punarjanmanati. He becomes immediately liberated. Sa ikkhata sa imān lōkān asrijata. This is Aitareya Upanishad. What is that? Sa ikkhata, the same thing. He saw, he put his glance. Sa ikkhata sa imān lōkān asrijata. He has created all these material manifestation, cosmic manifestation. So, the tadvaishāṅ vijatto tibhyaha pradur bhabuva. In this way, there are so many instances, so many quotations. Apani pada, sitashatra, apani pada. He has no, I mean to say, hands and legs. Or if he has no hands and legs, then how can he see? Is there any instance in your experience that something which has no hands and legs he can see? No. He has no anywhere. This is impersonal. The impersonalist quotes these authorities that he has no hands and therefore he is impersonal. No, it is not. If he sees, saikkhata, if he sees, if he hears, if he creates, then there is hand, there is eyes. But another place, if it is said, the apanipada, he has no hands and legs, that means he has no hands and legs like us. Because we have got material hands and legs. But there, he saw, therefore there was creation. Therefore his seeing power existed before this material creation. It is natural that he has no material hands and legs. So when it is denied that he has no hands and legs, it is to be understood that he has no material, limited hands and legs, but he has spiritual. So Caitanya Mahāprabhu concludes, therefore, that Chidananda Dehatarthana Puriva. Therefore anything of Krishna, anything of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is spiritual. Spiritual. Deha means body. His body is spiritual, his abode is spiritual, and his paraphernalia, parivar, his friends, his mother, his father, his beloved, everything spiritual. Ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavita bhistabhija eva nijarupataya kala. His expansion of all spiritual. Tāre kahe Prākṛta sattir vikār. And Śaṅkara says that the Absolute is impersonal, but when he comes or appears, he assumes a form which is in the modes of goodness. He does not say, of course, in the modes of ignorance, a modes of goodness. But no, when Krishna comes, he has nothing to do with modes of goodness even. What is this goodness here in this matter? This is also matter. So there is no value, even goodness. One has to transcend the modes of goodness. That is transcendental or aprākṛta. Tāra dosh nāhi teho ajñākari dāṣ, ārajai śune tāra haya sarva-nāśa. So again he supports Śaṅkara that it is not his fault. He had to do it under the superior order to explain the Vedic literature in an impersonalist way. But those who are not expert, if they hear the commentary of Śaṅkara, Śārīraka-bhāṣya, then he is doomed. In other words, those who are actually aspiring for being elevated in spiritual science, they should avoid to hear any commentary which is impersonal. Any commentary. Then he is doomed. If we follow Caitanya Mahāprabhu's instruction, then any impersonal commentary means if we hear, because we are not expert. We are not expert. Kanishtadikari means neophytes. Neophytes who are not conversant with the conclusion of the Vedas. They have got some, I would say, faith, that's all. That faith can be changed. If a person strong in arguments and strong in presenting things in jugglery of words, or the neophyte, his idea can be changed. But Caitanya Mahāprabhu words, therefore in the Vaishnava philosophy, that you should not worship any other demigod. It does not mean that you should show disrespect to demigods. No, that is not. But because he is in the lower stage, if he is allowed to worship or to show respect to the demigod, he will think that he is also like Krishna. If Krishna is another demigod, and this Chandra is another demigod, this Shiva is another demigod, just like some foolish person, they propagate that whatever deity you worship, that is God. Even they say if you worship a cat, if you have a dog, that is also God. So, therefore, there is stricture. And in the Bhagavad Gita also, māme simply unto me, one, Krishna says. Because one is neophyte. He can be turned, his faith can be disturbed at any moment. Therefore, in the beginning, one has to, I mean to say, pin his faith only in Krishna, māme. Otherwise he cannot make progress. And when one understands Krishna, janma karma dibbam, in truth, then he can understand other things also. Ādi-līlā śune tāra haya sarva-nāśa. So Caitanya Mahāprabhu warns that anyone who hears Śaṅkara's bhāṣya, Śārīraka-bhāṣya, he is doomed. Prākṛta kariyā māne viṣṇu-kalevara, viṣṇu-nindā, nāhi, ihāra, upara. Prākṛta kariyā māne, Prākṛta means material. If somebody thinks that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his body is material. That is the greatest offense. The greatest offense is that to accept a material thing as God, that is the greatest offense. And God, to accept a material thing as God, or to accept God as material. Just try to understand. Just like they are preaching that anything you worship, that is God. Or God is also material. When He comes, when He appears, He is also material. So these kinds of conclusion is the greatest offense. Viṣṇu-nindā nāhi, ihāra nāhi nindā, a blasphemy. So this should be avoided. Tattva jana ishare jalita jalan jiver sarup jaiche spulinger kon. Now, tattva, the absolute truth, is comparing just like blazing fire. Absolute truth is blazing fire, and jiver sarup jaiche spulinger kon. And the living entities, they are just like sparks, sparks of the fire. We have seen fire, blazing fire, and when fire is blazing, we can see the sparks and the original fire. Jeev tattva shakti, Krishna tattva shaktiman, Gita Viṣṇu Purāṇādi tahate praman. Now Caitanya Mahāprabhu says that Jeev tattva, the living entities, they are never the energetic, they are energy. Energetic and energy. So, how it is so? The evidence is from Bhagavad, Viṣṇu Purāṇa and Bhagavad Gita. Because one has to give evidence. How do you say that Jeev Tattva, the living entities, they are not the supreme? Caitanya Mahāprabhu, they are not to speak of supreme. They are not even of the same category, because there are different categories. Viṣṇu Tattva, Jiva Tattva and Shakti Tattva, there are so many categories. So he says that Jiva, the living entities, they are in the categories of energy. They are not energetic. Energetic and energy, you should try to understand. Just like the fire and its heat. Heat is the energy, and the fire is the energetic. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, He is the energetic, Supreme Person. And we, the living entities, we are energy. But as you cannot separate energy and energetic separately, wherever there is energy, wherever there is fire, there is heat also. You cannot separate the fire. So as soon as we are separated, that is our conditional state. How we are separated? Just like the sparks of the fire, as soon as it comes out of the fire and falls down on the ground, it loses its illumination immediately. That illuminating spark which was dancing with the fire, as soon as falls down, it becomes black, charcoal. It is just like carbon. So long with the fire, it is just like as good as fire, illuminating. So our position is like that. We are sparks, energy. As from the energy of the fire, there are so many sparks dancing. Similarly, we are all sparks of the Supreme Lord. But as soon as we come out of the fire, as soon as we want to become independent of the Supreme Absolute Truth, that spiritual energy becomes almost extinguished. It is never to be extinguished, but it appears It appears just like fire covered with ashes. So again, when ashes are removed, the fire comes. So our position is like that. We are now covered by the ash of this material energy, and as soon as this will be removed, the removal process is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, cleansing process. As soon as we are completely cleansed, we are as good, as illuminating as Krishna. So this is the process. We shall study again tomorrow. Thank you.